All right, on this episode of the LPDS, we get into a couple of things, actually. We're talking about some vegetable garden updates. We got a little bit of a Spearhead Leadership update. We have, what else do we have? We got some hotline calls, which is exciting. And we talk about a little bit of a internet tiff going on between influencers and the Italian American influencers, it seems like. So stay tuned for that. We also got some current events and pretty cool cage fact for you guys. It's all coming up right now. All right, Jabronis, we're back. Welcome back to the Libretti Podcast Diary Show. I'm your host, Libretti, the show that talks about nothing but finds the lessons and everything. We have a good time doing it. I hope you guys had a good week. Mine was pretty decent. More stuff was going on over the weekend, but because I'm recording it beforehand, we'll talk about it at a future date. I did have an allergy attack today, though. If you can't see and if you're looking in YouTube land, I got the Rudolph nose again. I got some watery eyes. I'm sniffling and sneezing. I had an attack for whatever reason. Well, I think I know the reason. It was the one day I stopped taking the allergy pills because I ran out. I was done. I was like, oh, well, we're long enough into the game here that I should be fine. Of course, the first day I don't take them, shambles. Absolute shambles. Sneezing, runny nose, itchy eyes, the whole gamut, the whole nine. It's been super annoying. I just don't understand it. It's almost like big allergy meds are just, they know, hey, this guy ran out of meds. Let's pump his vents in his house full of pollen and everything else and get this guy going again so we could get back out to the store and buy some meds. I don't know what it is. I also am still baffled by this idea of, oh yeah, your body could just become allergic to stuff and we don't know how it happens. It's random and that's it. We're just going to accept it. Don't ask why. What's that saying? Ours is not the reason why, ours but to do or die. Private Oppum, World War II, Saving Private Ryan. That saying works if you're a private in the Army or a rookie in the military. You just shut up and color. But when you're a medical professional and also a scientist creating these drugs for allergy stuff, your specific job is to ask why so you can find solutions. Isn't that part of like the Hippocratic Oath or something? Why would this happen to so many people? It's so common these days that people are just have seasonal allergies all of a sudden, even if they did it their whole lives. It's so common, and the consensus across the board is, it happens. That's ludicrous to me. That's ludicrous. Maybe I'm not the delicate genius that they are, the medical professionals and the scientists, so I just can't comprehend like they can, and they just understand why, and they know it's not worth explaining to these plebes. So we're just going to tell them, it happens. Here's some meds. Take some pills. I don't know. I don't know if there's a conspiracy going on with Big Pill, but something's got to give. I mean, is it something I've been eating my whole life? Is it like, chemicals and crap in the food that's changing my immune system? The human body doesn't just reverse immunity like that for no reason. I've been living outside my entire life. Now all of a sudden I don't even go outside and I have it. It's crazy. And I can't, it's so annoying because it's such a simple thing. It's just runny nose, itchy eyes, this little tickle I have in my fat schnoz that if I move incorrectly, I go into a sneezing fit. And you've heard this a bunch of times before because I complain about it all the time now. It's just mind-boggling to me that nobody at the top seems to care. I guess maybe they're in bed with Big Pill and they're just like, yeah, we're getting a cut. We're getting our VIG for pushing meds, for pushing steroids and what have yous and everything that's going to, mask the symptoms. And that's all it does. It doesn't solve the problem. It just alleviates the symptoms for a while until you go to bed. It's super annoying. Anyway, I'm going to try to make this a shorter episode. I kind of rambled on last week. I didn't even realize how long it went until after the fact. Depending on the program I use to record, I don't have a little timer on how long it's been recording. And that's what's going on right now. I'm just kind of flapping my gills and seeing, guessing how long it is. And I don't like to waste everybody's time and waste my time blabbering on about stuff, but I just went off on one last week, I guess. So if you haven't listened to it, go listen to it. Go tune in. What are you doing? I know when you don't. The numbies are too low, folks. The analytics are too low. So I know when somebody's not listening who usually does. And it shows all the demographics, the age ranges, sexual orientations, genders, favorite color, where you are in the world. I could figure it out pretty easily, unfortunately, for you guys. And for me, because it means my numbers are low. But go check it out. Sorry, folks, had a sneezing fit because the wind blew in Schenectady, New York. So I had a sneeze for a bunch of times, but we're back. So anyway, we're gonna try to make this short. That's what I was going for anyway. There's been a very slight sort of uptick in pushback, if you will, or sort of anger is, things are brewing. An internet war is brewing here, and it's against the Italian Americans, specifically from the Northeast, I would imagine, who are hitting up TikTok and Instagram big time lately, the past couple years. And we've talked about these folks in the past. There's a whole bunch of them. And they've created essentially a group of stereotypical Italian Americans on Instagram and TikTok. And it actually started with Sticks, my brother Nicky Sticks. Him and his one of his coworkers on their cigar show were talking about it, how they're getting tired of these Italian Americans who are not from Italy. They have family from Italy, but they just lean so hard into the stereotype. It's getting ridiculous with the tracksuits and the jewelry and the way they talk. Even though they talk with New York and New Jersey accents, they just overemphasize it, and it's so obviously fake and forced for this caricature, this show that they're putting on, and people are starting to get sick of it. And then right after I saw that, I saw a clip from another podcast of a guy talking to Little Mo Mozzarella. Now, he's an Italian American who leans into a lot of the stereotypes, and that's what he was being asked by the host of that podcast. He was saying, hey, I see all these Italian Americans on there. What's their deal? Why are they pushing this so hard? And Little Mo was talking about how it's become sort of like a genre of character to pick. Like you have the wiggle dickers on TikTok that they take their shirts off and oil each other up and then do the dances with the cauliflower or broccoli haircuts that they have, the permanents. There's those. That's a genre. That's a crew right there. And the fake Italians that I've talked about those in the past, they have their own genre. And it's starting to get out of hand to the point where people are starting to rebel. Italians are starting to rebel. And don't forget here, folks, this is really the lesson here is we started talking about this a long time ago. Years ago, we started talking about the stereotypical Italians who are barely Italian by blood, by family, and they just lean so hard into this fake persona. They want to be these wise guy, tough guy, mafioso looking types, Tony Soprano types. And it's just not working. They're not tough guys. I've seen these people in real life. They're not tough guys. They're like mid-level accountants. They're pushing pencils. They're living in cube farms at work. And then they get home, they throw their tracksuit on, and now they're a good fella. I always thought it was humorous because, look, if they're getting some sort of income out of it and they're getting, popular, good on them. Whatever they got to do, whatever they're doing to hustle, good on them. But I also have said in the past, as well as Nikki Sticks, it's just, I guess it's not my type of entertainment. It's just so forced. It's so wannabe that it's just getting out of hand. So if you see it going on out there at social media, let us know here at the LPDS. If you see something, say something. We're tired of these fake Italians with the hands and the how you doings. And if I'm one of them, let me know and I'll stop it right away. Anyway, I don't know what else is going on in the world this week. Couldn't care less, honestly. The bridge collapse in Baltimore. I don't know if we talked about that a little bit ago. Government still stinks. The Yankees are still sort of winning, but any day now it's going to fall. I mean, I like the team. I like what they're doing. I like their attitude still, but they don't have the backing still. And I'm going to repeat it till I'm blue in the face. They don't have the backups to deal with injury and loss. So let's see how they play and how they act as a team once they start losing games. They start stinking it up. Are they going to stick together and stay strong, or are they going to fold like a cheap suit? Stay tuned. Anyway, we're just going to get right into it. We're going to get to the good stuff. We're going to step into the cage.
Okay, let's run.
All right, today's Into the Cage segment is proudly sponsored by Whispering Eye Perfume for Men. Fellas, are you looking for a new fragrance to stand out from the crowd and also show off your more seafaring side? Then pick up a vat of Whispering Eye Perfume for Men today. Whispering Eye is an all-new, animal-tested fragrance that emits a tasteful touch of Oyster Bay that really gets the gal saying, "Ahoy, matey." So to get yourself a Whispering Eye today and be the talk of the post-date group chat, visit www.clamscasino.com and use the promo code Sergeant Sardine for 29% off your first bottle. Fun stuff. Fun stuff. Cage fact. Yet another movie of Nic Cage's is coming out this year, and it's premiering at the Cannes Film Festival, Cannes Film Festival next month in Cannes, whatever it's called. The movie's called The Surfer, and Nic Cage plays a family man who, I guess he's Australian. I don't know if he's going to have an accent or not, but he owns land in Australia, and then he lived in the U.S. forever, and now he's going back to Australia to go get his land again. And there's a couple of ruffian surfers that are claiming they're squatting on his land, and he has to fight for his land back through surfing. I don't know if it's surf battles or he's trying to become one of them to show, like, to earn their respect or something. I don't exactly know, but I know I'm going to watch it. It may not be this year. It may be 17 years from now, because every time a new episode of the LPDS comes out, a new Nic Cage movie is announced, because he is on a heater still, folks. And it's very exciting. I'm excited to see him surfing, doing surf fights with the ruffians, and having a good time. So that's it. That's the Cage fact. We're moving, folks. We're moving and shaking today. Moving on over to the Junction. Spin that logo up. Got a couple updates for you, folks. If you saw my Instagram story a little while ago, I finally got around to planting tomato seeds. We're going to give it a go once again. We're going to give it a shot, try to get some tomatoes, make some sauce, be fake Italians. I also got peppers, actually. While I'm thinking about it, I also planted some pepper seeds, too, some hot peppers from Italy. JPL3, my old man, knows a guy out there, probably a family member, and he had seed packets shipped to us from the motherland so that we can plant those seeds this year. And all of the instructions and everything on it is in Italian. They are legit. So I got some tomatoes we put in there. We got 2 different types of hot peppers, which I'm very excited about. They look very good, very tasty. And we're going to see how it goes. Now, we do have sprouts already with the tomatoes. I planted them a few days ago, maybe a week ago, and we got some sprouts. So I'm very excited about that. No pepper sprouts, though. I'm going to have to Google how long it takes pepper seeds to, I don't know, was it germinate and get going, or if they need more water or less water, or what the deal is, because on the back of the packet, I can't read Italian very well. And I'm probably butchering the translation, so I don't know exactly how they're turning out, or if I'm doing it right. But I got them in little pots. I have them on a table so I can move the table outside so they can get used to the weather and the sun out there, and then I bring them back in under the UV light, and we're just kind of like getting them used to the outdoors so that when they grow long enough, we can plant them and they'll be fertile, if you will. And I'm excited about that. Excuse me. We haven't gotten tomatoes in a long time here at the LPDS, and we've been trying for a long time. I think I got a couple of baby mini tomatoes a long time ago, a couple years ago, and that was about it. And we've been struggling ever since. But the one thing about the LPDS, many things about the LPDS, is we don't quit. We may fail, we may hit some hurdles, but we don't quit until the job is done. And sometimes that job could take a long, long time, a lot of years. And we're just going to keep going. Keep moving forward. Keep pushing to the right until the tomatoes are grown. And don't worry, Wet Cat. I know you don't like tomatoes, so no tomatoes for you. That's a running joke we've had for a long time. No tomatoes for the Wet Cat or Mrs. Wet Cat. But that's basically what I got going on with my life right now, besides work and Spearhead stuff and working out. I've been so in the weeds with that stuff. My house is in shambles. It's dirty. It's unorganized. My landscaping is barely making it. I'm like a single mother here, except without the kids. I don't know how they do it. I don't know how they do it. Good on them for that, because they got to take care of children, plus work, plus clean, plus all this stuff. I just got Randy the dog here, and, he's a bit of a pain, but he's nothing compared to a child who you have to mold into a functioning, independent adult. It's just a dog. He licks himself. He eats food. He throws up. That's it. He barks. So I gotta get it figured out here. I don't know if I got to hire an assistant or a cleaner or something. But I did find out, speaking of house stuff, I don't have a pipe leak in my bathroom. I did cut out that portion of the moldy drywall. I need to regrout the tile in that one corner and on the edges. And then I'll seal it up. And then I'll put new drywall there. And I think I'm going to take all the drywall out on that edge and then put tile on there instead, because it actually will match the rest of the shower finally, because that drywall didn't go with the shower. It also was not the bathroom drywall, that green rock, or whatever they call it, that helps prevent mold and stuff. It wasn't that. It's the cheap stuff. Whoever flipped this house before I owned it was very cheap, and I'm not happy about it. So we got to deal with that. Randy's got to deal with that. We're going to figure it out and make it happen. It'll look nice. So I think I forgot to post pics of it last time. I'll post some mold pics at current state and then post when it's all said and done, hopefully. But that is basically all I got going on right now. I'm doing a lot of Spearhead stuff. Speaking of which, I signed up for a conference, an event to attend. Now, I signed up because there's a lady in one of my business mentoring groups who is speaking at this event. I think I mentioned this before. She lost her leg in a car accident, and now she's she goes on speaking engagements to talk about dealing with the adversity and this and that. She's also she's working towards becoming a Paralympian snowboarder, which is pretty cool. So she goes up to like Utah and stuff for training most of the year, which is exciting and scary. She's got one leg is completely gone from the hip, basically. So she doesn't know, not at the knee. She has no bendability in that leg at all on the prosthetic or whatever. So it's quite the journey that she's been going on. So I signed up for this event to go see her speak. She's going to be in the area. I want to support the team a little bit. Well, I come to find out, and I don't know if I mentioned this before. Maybe I did. I don't know. I come to find out that the event is a women's empowerment event. It's called Unleash Her Power. And it's by women for women. And I already bought the ticket. And the business attire, the dress code is business dressy. And you must have gold in whatever you're wearing. Now, I did a little recon. I reached out to some folks to make sure that men were allowed in, because I wasn't going to show up if we weren't allowed in, dressed in a suit and tie or whatever. And I really didn't want to dress up in a wig and to pretend to be a woman just to see my friends speak, because I don't look like a woman. Not a good-looking one, anyway. I look like Jack and Jill, Adam Sandler from Jack and Jill. So I needed to reach out to these people to find out if men are allowed to go. So after some recon of the event and reaching out to some people, I did find out men are allowed in. And previous events for this particular organization that runs these events men have shown up in the past, not just one person. So I'm not going to stand too much out like a sore thumb. I'll be okay. And I have a gold tie and a gold I forgot what they're called in the pocket square, handkerchief for the pocket square. So I'll be okay. I'll bring my notebook so I could take notes and learn from the speakers. They're all going to be women talking about women's empowerment and stuff. I'll be flinging out some business cards, trying to network, and hopefully meet some people in the local area that we can build some solid relationships with and make things happen. So I'm excited for that. That's going to be happening before this episode posts, but after I record, obviously. So I'll give you guys updates after the fact. And hopefully it goes over pretty well. But I've been honed in on stuff like that and updating my content strategy to bring more value to people, hopefully. So my head has been in the sand in that regard, in the weeds. And I need to kind of probably take a step back, smell the roses a little bit, maybe take a break and hit the reset button, get the house cleaned, get things figured out, and then go again. Because what I don't want to do is I don't want to burn out and end up making zero progress because of that mindset of, oh, if I'm not working 24/7, somebody else is, and they're going to take, I get that mindset in certain aspects, but this one is not. This is a marathon here. I need to be able to recharge the batteries, get some nutrients in me, make sure I'm fresh for the entire race here. So we got to be smart about this, and it's tough. It's tough to do that a lot. I did it. I've been doing it a little bit recently. I think I got tendonitis in my arm, shoulder area. So if you're looking at YouTube land, it's like at the bottom of my shoulder here on the top of the tricep, daddy. It's like a sharp pain when I'm doing certain exercises on working out. I think it's just tendonitis because it's not really that, it doesn't feel that bad or whatever. But I had to hit sit the bench for a little bit. And again, in reality, that's the smart decision. You got to do that. I'm not in a competition. I'm not in a bodybuilding competition next week that I need to keep working out and make gains or whatever. But at the same time, in my head is like, oh, the more I'm sitting the bench, the longer it's going to take me to reach my goals and this and that. But if I'm working out when I'm hurt, I'm only going to make it worse. And then my rehab time and rest time on the bench is going to be even longer. So I have to be smart about this stuff. It's very difficult to do because my entire life has been not doing that. No resting, not caring about the long game and the physical, mental, and emotional health and wellness to actually achieve your goals and succeed and excel. So I got to be better at that. I'm working on that. And if you're having issues with that too, feel free to let me know. We could talk about it. We could vent about it. We could figure it out together. You can hit the hotline at 202-670-1114, and we could talk about it here on the show. Speaking of hotlines, we are rolling through, folks. I'm telling you, this is going to be a short one, business, mainly because I'm sniffling and sneezing and stuff, and I almost didn't record at all. I was almost about to do like a very late Saturday night recording, hopefully being, feeling better by then, because I don't like the way I sound, and I don't know if you can hear the sniffling and the garbage going on the mic or not, but it's disgusting. Like, I don't want that for you guys, and I didn't want to put out a garbage product for everybody to have to suffer through or just not listen at all. It would have been a waste of a recording. So I'm trying to keep it short, and be able to, be clear and concise and effective and entertaining to you guys without you having to suffer for it. So I'm in a very small window right now of where I'm not completely in shambles with this allergy attack, and I'm trying to take advantage of it for myself and for the good of the Junction too. So we're rolling on over right into hotlines. We got 2 hotlines today that we're going to get to, and then we're going to call it a night, folks, or call it a day whenever you're listening to this. So stand by.
Hey, John, Colin, I have a question for you, and maybe you can pose this to the Junction. Does soup count as a full meal? Like, there's a completely different categories of soup, like subcategories. Like, I feel like a good, like, clam chowder, it's hearty, maybe a good chicken noodle, but, like a tomato soup, maybe not, because you're not eating that by itself. But maybe you could help dissect that. Love to get your take on it. Stay strong.
All right. Thanks for the call. I don't know if I don't maybe he was watching an episode of Seinfeld when he thought of this question. This has been a joke question for ages now. This is a conversation piece. It's been in a bunch of sitcoms and memes and reels and stuff. Is soup a meal? Kenny Bania and Seinfeld. Jerry owes him a meal, and he gets the soup at Mindy's. There's a whole do-to-do. Soup's not a meal. Soup's soup. It's liquid. If it's just liquid, I don't care what's in it. It's not a full meal. I've never once in my entire existence eaten just soup without anything else. Unless I was sick. And that's all I could hold down. Some soup or like pastina or something. So to me, it's never going to be just a meal. I know a lot of people eat it as a meal. Nikki Sticks loves soup. He loves making soup and eating just soup sometimes as a meal. Not for me. I love soup too, but it's always with something. Every single time. Every soup I've ever had in my entire existence from my memory is a side to a real meal. I need a real protein that's not in the soup. I'm not doing it. Next question. What else have we got here? Thanks for the call, though. I appreciate it. Love Seinfeld. Banya was a great character. Very funny stuff. Very funny bit in that episode that they did. He's a professional, so they were able to pull it off better than I can. So thanks for that. All right, let's get to the next call here. Stand by.
John, I know you're tracking there's a huge recruiting crisis in the military, recruiting and retention. How would you solve the problem? Retention is one thing. I think that's a leadership issue, but also the retention issue. That's a completely separate thing. A hot take that I have is I think we need to be more restrictive of who gets into the military and make our standards even higher, so that we are more elite, so that only the top of the top want to join, and we need to pay our people what they deserve. Have a good one. Stay strong.
Thanks for that question. Thanks for that call. I like that one a lot. I like that question a lot because I think about it a lot, especially being just out of the military. A lot of the reasons why I left the military are the reasons why they can't retain people and recruit people. And I'm not going to get into a whole entire diatribe just yet. Maybe in a future episode, I'll give you all my thoughts on this whole situation. But there is a lot of things that the military has failed miserably at over the last decade, and it continues to get worse. And it absolutely starts at the top. I saw an article out there. I think I even made a Spearhead Leadership reel about it, Instagram reel about it. I don't remember if I did or not, but the headline of the article was saying how, you could make up to $220,000 a year in the military. And then if you read through the article, it says, if you become a general in the military, you could potentially make up to that with all the incentives and bonuses and tax exemptions and stuff like that. And I 100% believe that they made that headline like that to entice poor, stupid bastards to go join the military because the recruiting numbers are so low. And they see that and they're like, oh my God, I can make $200,000 a year in the military. Meanwhile, there's only about 200 generals in the entire Air Force. Maybe there's 200 generals. I don't know exactly how many generals there are in the military, but it's a fraction of a percentage. And it takes 30 years to be eligible for that rank and salary. So it's a complete scam, snake oil sales job to put that as the headline to trick people into thinking they can join the military and make this kind of money. And it's reasons like that. That's why you have a recruiting and retention problem. Because the recruiting is all lies and propaganda to make you think everybody who joins is going to do all the awesome, cool stuff fly the jets, the drones, shoot the snipers, be on SEAL Team 6. Everybody's going to get to do that, and they're all going to get paid six figures for it, multiple six figures for it. When in reality, a fraction of the percentage of people in the military do any of that stuff. A very small fraction, less than a percentage. SEAL Team 6 is maybe 60 people total, 100 people total of the actual operators, not the support staff outside, but the actual operators that go and kill bin Ladens and stuff like that. Generals, there's only a couple hundred of them. This population in this country is 330 million. And they're telling you, yeah, technically they're not wrong. You can make upwards of $220,000 a year if you play the game, you make rank, you stick it out for 30 years, you drink the Kool-Aid, you play all the political chess moves for 30 years, and then you can become appointed as a general. That's a crazy way to recruit people. That's one of the reasons why you have an issue. Right there and then and there. You're lying to people to get them to sign up. And that's why you have a retention issue too, because you're lying to people to sign up, and as soon as they get there and see behind the curtain of how politically driven the military has become, how it's not about the team, it's about worrying about your own career progression. People want out. As soon as their contract is up, they want out. There is no incentive to stick around anymore in the military as things continue to get worse because they're building leaders based off of self-service. People who lie, steal, and cheat and tolerate among them anybody else who does to find a way to the top. It goes against the absolute core values of the military, everything that they say they stand for. And that's, again, one of the reasons why you're dealing with recruitment and retention issues. How I would solve that problem, it would take a long time. I would wipe out the top. The top leaders, see ya. Yeah, we might be getting rid of some good ones. There is a small percentage of good leaders that stuck around, that snuck through the cracks without having to become total pieces of garbage. So we might have to sacrifice that. But it starts at the top. The top is so corrupt and morally bankrupt these days, they got to go. And then you start the process slowly but surely, working your way, actually now after you get the top out of there, from the bottom up. Clearing out the garbage, cutting out some of the red tape, actually providing quality incentives and taking care of the people that join up and their families, and not just saying you will. I do like that idea of raising the standards and the expectations and making it harder to get in. Like I said before, and I'll say it again, the military is there to serve as the fighting force for the United States. We don't want mushballs in the military. When shit hits the fan, according to our contracts, anybody can go at any time. And even though it's a low percentage, a low likelihood that everybody gets to go and do the tough, scary stuff, we still sign up for that. So you want people in those positions, in all positions, who at the drop of a hat can actually be ready and still do their job in the face of adversity. And raising the standards a little bit more than instead of dropping the standards is exactly what I would do as well. And yeah, there might be a short-term drop in numbers and people making it through and sticking around, but in the long term, it'll be better off. There's a reason why so many people love the Navy SEALs and the Green Berets and the Army Rangers and the combat controllers and all that. They're an exclusive group. Those are exclusive units to be a part of and become a member of. And part of that exclusivity is that it's extremely difficult to get through. But if you make it through, now you are a part of an elite organization, the best in the world. And it's not even close. Yes, the British have the SAS and they're badass. The Australians have some special forces and they're badass. There's some awesome Israeli special forces guys. All those guys are badass. But they all take training from us. They all learn the best of the best information and training and abilities and skill sets from us. Okay? If you can make it through, that's why you see a lot of egos in some of these organizations with like the SEALs writing books and all this other stuff going on. They're the best of the best. They've earned it almost. Now, I don't condone having an ego. I always like to stay humble. And that's not why you join that organization, to be able to write books and brag about it. But they also went through hell to become part of those organizations. And there is an exclusivity there. And the recruiting is completely different. It's almost like it's the opposite of what they're doing now. The recruiting in the military now is lie to you, talk about only the good things of the military, never tell you any of the bad. And then once you sign on the dotted line, we got you. Too bad. Now for 4 years, you're with us. I don't care if you hate it and we lied. We got you, sucker. And we're meeting our recruiting quotas and we'll get our bonuses for that. And screw you. Got it. Meanwhile, these top organizations, the special forces units of the military, they're like, don't waste your time here. You're probably not what we're looking for. And what does that do to the psyche? What does that do to your brain? Oh, now I want it more. I want to prove you wrong. You don't think I can make it through? Watch me. I'm going to be the best of the best. And now they have folks who want to be there and want to work their asses off and want to be the best. Now imagine you have a tryout of 40 guys who all want to be the best and beat each other in the training to be the best at the training and to be the best Navy SEAL possible, the best Green Beret possible. And they've all prepared beforehand up to that point, to that audition, that tryout that they'd have. Navy SEALs have buds. Green Berets have something else. I forgot what it's called. I don't even know if I could say what it's called. I don't remember. The Rangers have their selection. Even the unit I was in had a selection. It was a 4-week-long selection at the time. But when you have effective recruiting, you get those types of people. You get the people who want to be there, train ahead of time and prepare ahead of time, and then work their asses off to be the best of the best of the best, sir, with honors. And then you have your pick of the best. You have your pick of the litter of who you're going to choose to make it to become a SEAL or a Green Beret. And yeah, there's shitbags that make it through every once in a while. Every organization has that. Military, corporate world, everywhere. Sports teams, there's always the shitbags of the world that find a way to sneak through, and they eventually get exposed, and they eventually get removed. They're supposed to be anyway. That's another issue that we're having in the military is the shitbags are not getting removed. They're getting promoted. So that's another thing I would change. But yeah, long story short, yeah, I would raise the standards. I would flip the script on recruiting altogether and get people who actually want to sign up, not convince them to sign up and why it's good to serve their country and make a salary and learn new skills and stuff like that. There are better ways to recruit. You can make people want to join and want to be a part of something bigger, greater than themselves. And the way they're doing it now is the exact opposite. And then what they're doing once you're in there is the exact opposite of what anybody wants to see in an organization that they are even questioning staying in or not. Because right now, most of the time people are asking themselves that question, they're out. And a lot of the times, actually, I'll say this is kind of contradicting what I just said. The people who are staying in for their 20 years, they're in too deep. They're just toughing it out. I'm trying to think off the top of my head of all the people I know in the military, friends, acquaintances, whatever, who still enjoy and love doing it and think it's still great and that they're having a good time. The military's still doing well. There's no bullshit they're dealing with, all that stuff that they enjoy. They're staying in because they want to. They love it. Why wouldn't they leave? It's great. There's very few people I could think of off the top of my head that I know that feel that way. Most of the people I know who are still in and staying in for their 20, it's because they get a pension out of it. They're just tough, and they got a couple more years before they're eligible for that pension. That's easy money for the rest of their lives afterwards, and they'll still be young enough to go get another full-time job. So they'll have a full salary plus 50% of their military salary at the end of it all. I also know some people have families, so they can't just take the leap of faith to go out on their own without that safety net of the pension and medical benefits. So I get that. I'm in a different boat. I was in a different boat. I don't need that safety net right now. So I took the jump. Will I regret it? I don't think so. I am betting on myself here. So I have no doubt. I just have no doubt in my mind that I'm going to succeed. And years down the road, when it comes time to say this is when you would have started collecting your pension, I won't even think about it. I won't even be like, damn, that would have been nice to have that extra couple $1,000s a month. It won't even be a thought in my mind because I'll be swimming in it. I'll be swimming in the successes of my own gamble, if you will, my own risk and doing things on my own. I'm very confident in that. And I don't know how long it's going to take. I don't care. I'm just going to get it done. So I was able to take that leap. But I know there are people in the military that are miserable. And the only reason why they're still in is because they need that, they want that pension and benefits afterwards. And I get it, and I feel for them. But that is not the type of person you want running your military. Because they don't want to be there. They're doing it because they feel they have no choice, no other choice. They're already in it. They're already in too deep. They're disgruntled. They're tired. They're worn out from working their dicks off day in and day out, 10, 12-hour shifts and days, getting deployed 15 times, getting divorced a couple times, having PTSD and having no treatment there, no real treatment besides drugs. And if you take too many of the drugs, they kick you out for medical reasons because you're not fit to fight instead of actually treating you. It's become a nightmare. And I know there's going to be people that listen to this that are still in the military and they'll disagree with me, and that's fine. We're allowed to disagree. And they have also different experiences. So they're disagreeing from their own experience, which is very different from mine. And I understand that completely. But from my personal point of view, there was not nearly enough positives and pros in the military right now or the foreseeable future for me to even remotely want to stay in any longer. That's just me. And I have no issue with people who disagree. I'm not going to get mad at them and be like, you're stupid, you're an idiot, blah, blah, blah. Nothing like that. I get it. But if I were king for a day, I would need more than a day. I would do a lot to change things up and work through it. Get those standards back up, get the expectations back up, create a fighting force that people can be proud to be a part of, and our country can be proud that's, it feels safe knowing that they're defending us. And that's all I got to say about that. Don't know if that's what you were looking for. I have more on the military. There's a lot of good there. There was a lot of good, especially in my time, and I'll talk about it someday soon. Not right now, but this stuff does get me heated. It gets me very heated sometimes because I loved it so much. There was so much put into it emotionally as well and mentally that it strikes a chord when I talk about it. The good and the bad. It all, there's a lot going on in there. And there's a lot of a lot of times I wish there would have been a situation where I would have wanted to stay in, where it would have worked out. I wish every day that it was a better situation for me so that I didn't even have to worry about making that decision because I loved my time there. But man, do I have some problems with it too. So I'm going to stop bitching about it before I lose more friends. And we're going to talk about the big three and get out of here, folks. Now, if you're new here, the big three is the three pillars of staying strong and being a better, happier, kinder, healthier, more genuine human being and spreading that goodness and positivity throughout the land. Number one, exercising every day. Whatever you got to do each and every day to get a workout in and exercise in, physically, mentally, or emotionally. So whether it's going to the gym or working out at your home gym, or going for a run, or doing a walk after a meal, burning some calories physically, or reading a book, learning a new skill or hobby, doing a crossword puzzle, breaking the mental sweat, or some workouts for the soul, praying, meditation, breath work, stuff like that, therapy. Get your exercise in so you can be healthier physically, mentally, and emotionally. There's so much good that comes out of it. I could talk about it till I'm blue in the face. The endorphins that surge through your body when you exercise, and that has a physical, emotional, mental effect on your state of mind, your state of being. There's so many positives to exercise. Do it every day. Number two, the hardest one to do, don't be a shitty person, be a kind person. When the opportunity arises to respond negatively or be shitty to somebody, even if they're shitty to you first or they're negative to you first, take the LPDS step back from that situation and just omit yourself altogether. Remove yourself altogether. Don't even respond. Because even if you respond with something correct, when you think that person deserves it and you think, I got that guy, they deserved it, all you're doing is adding more negativity and shit to the world. It doesn't make it, maybe it makes you feel better for a split second until you realize that that's a human being on the other side with their own things that they're dealing with. And now you don't know how you actually affected that person. Maybe they deserved the quick jab, but they didn't deserve the residual stuff that they're going to have to deal with now. Just something to think about. And if you remove yourself, you're removing the negativity from the situation, you're minimizing that, and you're allowing yourself the capacity to go do more positive, productive things with your lives. It's very hard, though. I get it. Number three, the most important one, be genuinely thankful and grateful for all the good you have in your lives. I'm bitching and moaning here about allergies and the sniffles, and I'm driving over to the pharmacy to go pick up some meds, and there is a homeless lady. I say lady. She was probably about 25, 26 years old with her kids out there holding up signs looking for money. Supposedly homeless. I hope they're not liars and just panhandlers, but I don't cry about the sniffles. I got a roof over my head and I got toilet. So be genuinely thankful and grateful for all the good you have in your lives. Think about it at least once a day, at least one good thing in your day, in your life that's good, and think about what your life would be like without that thing, how shitty it would be, and that would put you in that state of gratitude. And if you do that more and more each day, more and more days throughout the weeks and months and years, you'll be living in that state of gratitude more often, as opposed to the state of taking things for granted. And if you couple that with not being a shitty person, and you couple that with exercising every day, I promise you guys, looking in the camera now, I promise you, you'll be a better, happier, kinder, healthier, more genuine human being. You can spread that positivity and goodness throughout the land. Thank you guys again for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe and tell your friends and enemies and keep those hotline calls coming. I love them. 202-670-1114 is the number. It'll take you to a voicemail. You'll leave your question, your comment, your joke of the day, your news update, whatever it is you want. Leave it on there. We'll play it on the show if you want. You can leave your name. You can be anonymous. You could troll me. You could do whatever you want. 202-670-1114. Thank you guys again. I love you all. Stay strong.